Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piroworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. It's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on the Rundown. 2A views, conservative news. And Craig, I see you're back in the holding cell.
Well, the holding cell is behind me.
Well, okay. All right, gotcha.
That's what happens on Throat Punch Thursday.
You are the key master for the holding
Guess what
cell.
day it is? Guess what day it is? Who's ready?
It's Throw Punch Thursday, bitch.
So yeah, I decided I'm trying to find the perfect spot, and where I did it from, where I did the show from on Tuesday, it didn't have for me it didn't have the right feel. So I'm still trying to kind of work it all out. So I'm back here, but though I am doing something a little bit different. In that I've got still have my multi-camera set up, so I can switch over to that one right there, and you can see me going on like, hey, how you doing? So you can see what I got going on in the background. It's actually got that PTZ camera that actually follows me. So
over your right shoulder, is that I can't tell, is that a trash can or a bucket of flowers?
it's a bucket of flowers.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
No, trash cans down here, bucket of flowers.
Okay.
So what that is behind me, it's an interview room. So if someone is doing a phone interview or something like that, and they need like a quiet space, that's kind of the space that they can go into. Although to me, it looks more like a fish bowl. So I call it the fish bowl.
Interrogation room. Yeah.
Interrogation room.
It's got phone books and rubber hoses in it.
There you go. Well, you know what? I wonder if it's like completely like waterproof sealed. Maybe we just waterboard people, pour water in there. Maybe.
Hey, remember, it's not waterboarding if you use diesel.
That one of the techniques you learned while in Afghanistan.
Once they said waterboarding was illegal, we improvised, we adapted, we overcame.
There you go. Why do I find that easy to believe?
It was readily available.
Whatever floats your boat, Mikey. Whatever floats your boat.
That's it. And it does float in diesel. So
It does float in diesel, although I imagine it does make smoking cigars a little complicated.
listen, diesel's very, very hard to light. You can put a torch to diesel and it won't light. It's that's the beauty of it,
Okay. Well, I'm sure if anybody would know, you would know.
Yeah, lessons learned.
Lessons learned. All right. All right, let's go ahead and get ready to kick it in full gear and get into today's topics. And let's start it the way that we usually do, with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep, Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Get on over there. They got AR barrels, rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire. They also have a whole line of shotgun, rifle, and pistol barrels available from other manufacturers. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you get everything except the gun.
And also want to encourage you, please take a moment and sign up for the 2A newsletter brought to you by 2A News. All of the gun news that you will need, whether it be from 2A websites, whether it be from mainstream media, whether it be video, whether it be blogs, folks, it's all there, and it comes to your email box day. Well, not day, not weekends, just Monday through Friday. But you will find it to be very, very helpful. Now, I want to remind you, there's about a dozen of you that signed up, and when you got the confirmation email, you didn't confirm. You didn't say, hey, yeah, I want it. So make sure you confirm. Two, add our email address to your contacts. That way it won't get caught up in your spam filter, because I know I got some folks hit me up, hey, why haven't I been getting my 2A newsletter? And it's easier for me to tell y'all now than it is for me to keep respond to every single one of your texts and emails. So hook it up. But a great source of 2A news. Check it out today.
Do it now.
Do it now. Also want to remind you, if you are watching this program during the 3 o'clock hour on the West Coast or during the 6 o'clock hour on the East Coast, you're watching us live. And if you're watching us live, that means we're taking your comments. I'm looking at your comments right over here. If we find them to be interesting, we will share them with our audience. And the best way to be interesting is let us know who you are. Let us know where you're watching the program from. And if you agree with us, tell us you agree with us. If you disagree with us, tell us you disagree with us. And by the way, if you disagree with us, there's a greater chance we're going to use your comment because, the great part about disagreeing with us is it gives us an opportunity to mock you.
Oh wow, is that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
Yep, the Florida State bird, baby. We will mock you.
Nothing like being mocked. Know what I mean?
Mock you, mock you.
All right, let's go ahead and get into today's news stories. This is one that you are not going to hear in this first one is one you are not going to hear in the mainstream media. And you're not going to hear it because they don't really want to report on it, right? They don't really want to tell you the full truth. Everyone wants you to believe that Donald Trump in the mainstream media wants you to believe that Donald Trump is the worst president ever, that nothing good is happening for America because he's president. Well, guess what? That is just not the case. And this is a great example of that. Did you know that the American workforce is actually becoming more American? That's right. This being reported by the folks over at Breitbart News. The American workforce is becoming more American. The June jobs report showed that foreign-born labor force has fallen sharply over the past year, a sign that President Donald Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration is reshaping the composition of the U.S. labor market. The number of foreign-born people in the labor force fell by 700,000 from June of last year, dropping from 32.6 million to 31.9 million, according to data released Thursday by the Department of Labor. The foreign-born civilian population led by 571,000 from 49.1 million to 48.6 million. That marks a significant reversal from the labor market in recent years, when the surge of immigration under the Biden administration rapidly expanded the foreign-born workforce. The latest numbers suggest that the Trump administration's border and enforcement policies are now beginning to unwind that shift. Now, Mike, this is significant because, once again, we're talking about if you're wanting to improve the economy, number one. If you're wanting to bring up wages, number two. The best way to do that is to make sure that that the people who are
Lost the sound with you there, Craig. I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, but you absolutely right. Listen, these numbers are huge to begin with. We're talking into 30 millions, right? But 700,000 over the course of a year is a giant shift. You're talking just under 1 million people have now gone and come back to the workforce. Basically, what you're seeing, because of these people that have gone and left and went home. Now you have people back, Americans back working in these jobs from entry level tasks all the way up to advanced level tasks. So that's a huge difference in the American population, huge difference in the homes. Here's almost, like I said, 750,000 people that are now working, Americans working again. That's huge towards the economy. I watched a video clip yesterday of President Trump being asked if he was making more money during this presidency, and he said, heck yeah, I am. Every one of us are. Have you not seen the stock market? Have you not seen your 401k? And he asked the reporter directly, how's your 401k doing? And clearly the reporter stopped aghast for a second and said, yeah, that's what I thought. We're all making money. So it was good to see that, again, these policies are moving forward to put more money in Americans' pockets, better economy, better job market. And, that's the goal, right? America first, not America only, right? America first is what we're doing here. So,
You're hitting the nail right on the head, my friend, right on the head. And you're gonna have to
Yep.
forgive me. My mic actually died, so now I'm powered up. Can you hear
Nope,
me?
all
Okay.
good. Yep, we're good now.
All right. Yeah, my mic died. One of the
It
problems with
happens.
using the portable mics is if you don't check gotta check the
Yep,
power.
understood. Yeah,
Anyway, but yeah, no, man, it's what's here's the other thing, and this is the other thing. Number one, the thing that people fail to understand about illegal immigration is that it lowers the market price for labor. Meaning, if you want to know why wages don't go up, it's because there are people who are willing to work for less than market rate. Now, that's who you're competing with. So if you got
yeah,
a carpenter who, if maybe the market rate for that carpenter is supposed to be about $25, $30 an hour, but you now have someone who's willing to come in and do it for $15 an hour, that reduces the cost. I mean, that reduces wages. So this is
yeah.
going to help bring wages. It's helping to bring wages up. And the other thing is a lot of these technical jobs we're talking about, I mean, you have a lot of companies that are trying to bring in, even through the legal process, through the H-1 visas, they're trying to bring employees in from other countries because even though they're coming in legally, they're willing to come in legally into the United States and work cheaper than American workers.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And they're usually coming in as, 1099 employees. They don't have to be paid benefits. They don't have to be paid, employee costs, and they could give you in turn, you're getting I don't want to say, like, let's using the carpet guys, for example, a lesser product. Let's say I might save a couple dollars on getting this installation done, but what happens the moment they're gone? There's no company, there's no longevity, there's no history. What do I do? There's no insurance if something goes wrong. All of these things. Want to know why you're making it's a couple dollars less? Because you're taking that risk. And in the long run, we know that cheaper labor makes cheaper product, and you end up paying more in the long run.
Well, and by the way, they're also able to hold those visas over over them. It's like, well, tell you what, if you want more money or if you want different working conditions, tell you what we'll do. We'll let you go. You lose your visa, and we'll hire somebody else to replace you.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, no,
Absolutely.
I think this is all good. Anyway, I'll just continue to say I think this is all good, and this is an excellent sign. And this is something, by the way, this is what people voted for. When you talk about the things that people who say they voted for Donald Trump, this is what they voted for. What's amazing oftentimes is when you see so many people in the mainstream media or even on the left through social media, they're like, oh, well, he's doing this and he's doing that. Is that what you voted for? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly what I voted for. Exactly what I voted for. That's what I want, right? That's what we all want. Again, America first.
Right. America first, not America only. And that is important.
Yeah.
It's like this, there's a reason why when you're on a plane, when they're giving you the instructions, if the cabin decompresses, the masks fall down, right?
Yep.
And the first thing they tell you is put your mask on first, then help the person next to you. Well, if we're not making sure to take care of our economy, first and foremost, how can we help other nations, right? How can we be the army for every other nation? How can we provide economically for every other nation if our economy is horrible?
Yep. Exactly right.
Not saying, just saying. Speaking about someone who, I'll just put it this way. I wrote a piece. I'm still trying to find some place that's going to publish it. I may wind up just self-publishing it, but it's talking about the rise of the Democratic Socialists of America and the fact that they're literally taking over the Democratic Party. And we were having a conversation. I was having a conversation here with some of the folks here, and we were just talking about how some of these folks have some very, very extreme views, and even the Democrats some of the Democrats who work here can't get down with some of the things that they're talking about. Well, there's one in particular. And this is a candidate who just won a primary over, I believe, in Colorado. And she is a Democratic Socialist. And interestingly enough, she happens to have a lot in common with someone you would think that a liberal would not have in common with. And that is Daraliza Avila Chevalier, which sounds like a communist Marxist name. But anyway, hostility to interracial romances and ugly colonizer women earns praise from ex-KKK Grand Wizard David Duke. Let me read a little bit of the piece here. It's from over at the Washington Free Beacon. It says here, presumptive Democratic Congresswoman Daraliza Avila Covalier's position on interracial relationships has earned her words of approval from a surprising source, David Duke. The former Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard turned Louisiana lawmaker said he agreed with her desire to keep the bloodlines pure. Quote, well, I think that people have the right to preserve their particular heritage, Duke told the Washington Free Beacon after being reached by phone. And if she's concerned about preserving her heritage, if it's Somali or whatever she is, she's certainly got the right to do that. Chevalier's position on interracial relationships stems from a now deleted social media post from September 2019 in which she criticized black and Arab men for fetishizing ugly colonizer women. Chevalier, who describes herself as Afro-Latina, and said she operates within the black queer feminist lens. Wow. If I thought her name was a mouthful, her lens is also a mouthful.
Yeah, listen, for those that are not born in this century, David Duke is he was a former Republican representative from Louisiana, if I recall correctly, and back in the 80s and 90s, or excuse me, a little earlier than that, and in 88, I believe it was. Now he was Republican. He was a Republican representative in Louisiana, and then he became outed as a Nazi, as a Klansman, like a former. I don't know what the regional bosses are.
Grand Wizard or something.
Yeah, the Grand Poobah or whatever it was, and then he became a Democrat. Once it was known he was a Klansman, he became a Democrat and ran for the presidential nomination in '88. So that's the kind of backing that she's getting. And this is, Craig, I know we've talked about this Democrat socialist and what just happened in New York. I think this is perfect. I really do. I think this is going to tear their party apart. And I like that it happened during the midterms, because now they have 2 years for us to have empirical evidence that they're destroying everything that they touch by the time we get to the next presidential election.
Well, and let's be honest, the modern left and the socialists, well, first of all, they're out and outright just saying it, right? The interesting thing about the DSA folks is they're just admitting they're socialists. And as much as they then say, well, we're not really communists, the head of the Democratic Socialists of America just came out and said, yeah, no, communism is the goal, right? They want communism. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You're going to say something.
No, I watched a video clip with some of these Democrat socialists in New York, and they said, obviously, Zoltan came on and said that they were going to start taxing the business owners to pay for everything. And the business owners are now saying, well, we'll leave. We'll leave. And the ideas from the Democrat Socialist Party was, well, we'll make it illegal for them to leave. What?
Right. They're going to put a wall around you. Look, I'm already seeing the remake of Escape from New York.
Yeah. How does that work? And then they said, well, if they do leave, we'll just go to their building and keep the business going. Like, the building is the business. Right. When this guy takes himself, he takes all his employees, he takes all his equipment and goes. The Democrat socialists think they could just continue to go there and open the door and make more widgets. They just
all you have
push
to do
push the button and it'll start coming out.
Right. Look at the background of the people who keep advocating for this stuff, and most of them are well-to-do. They're living off their parents' dime. They never really have a job. And if they've ever had a real job, they've never owned most of them have never owned a business. So they're used to signing a check on the back, not on the front. They don't really know what they're talking about.
Right. Yeah. Most of them couldn't identify a check if you gave them 2 out of 3 chances.
Yeah, and it's the reason why. Well, you look at it this way, right now you have Mamdani talking about the fact he's like, oh well, look, we've already showed that the economy works, right? We are that socialism works. I was like, you balanced your $12 billion budget, the one that has the deficit. You balanced it by one, raising taxes on people, two, grifting a bunch of money from the state, and then number three, taking your debts and pushing them off into the future. So yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
not going to pay that.
The
That's
city of New York,
in the
his city
yeah,
of
the
New York,
city of New York.
the city of New York with 9 million people
Right.
has a larger budget than the state of Florida with 23, 24 million people. And he keeps raising taxes to pay for his programs. We keep lowering taxes. In fact, we just got they just dropped property taxes. Now, if your property's $250,000 or lower, you're not paying any property tax on it. Oh, and by the way, the average price of a home in Florida is under $250,000.
Wow. The average price of a home in California is twice that.
Well, yeah, because it's 80% tax.
Well, it's considering the fact that it takes $150,000 before you even put the shovel in the ground in taxes, fees, environmental studies,
Yep.
and compliance and whatever politicians you have to pay off. There's a reason why, and it's, I keep hearing about this affordability issue, and don't get me wrong, things are definitely more expensive now than they were just a few years ago. But in the main things and the things that are really driving the challenge of affordability, which is energy and housing and healthcare, it's the policies that are driving it. And that's the reason why it's so high in places like California, in places like New York, in places like Illinois or Michigan. They keep passing these policies that drive up the costs. And there is a study right out of UC Berkeley. Now, UC Berkeley is not a conservative haven, but out of their business school, they actually did a study, and that's the number one thing that they pointed out was that the challenge of affordability that we're dealing with right now has to do with government policy, state in particular, state and local policies. You make it difficult for people to do business, fewer people do business. Fewer people do business means less competition. Less competition means higher prices.
Yeah. How many houses they rebuilt there in Malibu?
I believe they've approved 7.
Approved 7.
That doesn't mean they've started.
Yeah, last I saw, they started on 1.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what that could do for the construction industry in that area? The money they would bring in.
I'm just telling you right now, if I were a homeowner there and I got full market value for my home, I would never move back there.
No,
I would go.
That's my ticket to Texas or Florida.
Think about this. If you have a home that there was worth $4 or $5 million, think about what you could buy in Florida with that.
Oh, yeah, you could buy a county.
You could buy a county. I know. Look, we both know a lawyer who has a very nice house in a very nice neighborhood. And he probably didn't pay that much for that house.
Yeah, he got the big house. He got the big house.
He got the big house. I got to stay in the big house.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. I had to stay in the pool house.
Yeah, but
No,
anyway,
pool house number 2. I had to stay in.
Pool house number 2. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you know what? I think his sound and theater room costs more than my house.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah,
But had a great time there though. Had a great time.
Oh yeah.
All right. By the way, speaking of taxes, now this was one, I came across this on Facebook. I don't know if I necessarily trust the source, but I wanted to report on this because I felt like this was an example, once again, going back to what we're talking about socialists believing, oh yeah, all we got to do is tax our way into prosperity. And how they wind up actually, no matter what they tell you about they're going after the rich, they generally are going to be coming after you. Because even if they took all of the wealthy people's money, that would not fund their budget for 1 year. We're talking if they took every asset they had. Well, in this particular case, this was something that was put out by Law Enforcement Today. A guy named Greg Hoyt wrote the piece. And it says New York City says it isn't a tax. Cops say their wallets disagree. An annual fee imposed upon employees of the city of New York who reside outside of the 5 boroughs, including law enforcement officers, which functions much like a tax, is no longer able to be offset in part via a claimed tax credit, as the city asserts. The fee is a condition of employment and not a tax that can be adjusted with claimed credits. When is a de facto tax officially a tax? That's the question on the minds of many New Yorkers employed by the city of New York who have opted to reside in the suburbs rather than living within the 5 boroughs. According to the Tax Foundation, a tax is defined as, quote, a mandatory payment or charge collected by local, state, and national governments from individuals or businesses to cover the cost of general government services, goods, and activities. Anyone who was employed by the city of New York on or after January 4th, 1973, but doesn't live in the city must, quote, pay the city an amount equal to the personal income tax you would owe if you lived in the city. Logic would conclude the aforementioned is a tax, but New York City claims otherwise, officially calling the levy non-resident NYC employee payments. Indeed, the government is demanding the money. The payments are submitted and collected along with taxpayers' state and federal filings annually, and specialized tax from dubbed Form 1127 is used to calculate what a taxpayer owes New York City on any given year based upon the annual earnings, but it's definitely not a tax according to New York City. Now, the funny part about this is that the reason why this is being brought up is because you used to be able to just, you can deduct state and local taxes that you pay from your federal income, right? From your what's counted under federal tax. Well, you don't get to do that because they're saying now it's basically being deemed by the federal government. Yeah, no, that's not really a tax though. If it's a tax, if you want to say it's a tax, well then it's a tax. But the city of New York doesn't want to say they're taxing people. They're saying it's a fee, a condition of employment. But
Yeah, this actually applies to about half my family still living in New York. They've all moved out of the city because it's just become a cesspool again, and it's becoming an incredibly expensive cesspool. Yet they still have to pay as city employees. They were calling it before, Craig. It was what they call it, a services fee. Well, you're still coming into the city. You're still using our subways. You're still using our roads. You're still using, all of our public utilities. So therefore, you have to pay this. But they could write it off just like everything else. Now they can't. So I mean, this is in some cases, Craig, now an additional 10, 20% out of a paycheck because they don't get to claim it anymore.
Right. Well, once again, and I will continue to point this out to folks, they never run out of, they always seem to run out of money. And I don't know what it is. They can never find a program that they want to fund that they can't fund because to them the money's not their money, right?
Right.
It's someone else's money. It's always easy to spend someone else's money. And they wonder why people are then, because here's the deal. If you're going to do that, then why not just leave the state? Because at a certain point, I mean, I don't care how much higher wages may be, at a certain point, if I'm paying a huge percentage of my wages back to the city, and then I'm also dealing with the whole cost of living thing, eventually I'm just going to move.
Oh, it's been the conversation of the day with me and that family up in New York. Like, are you ready? I mean, are you ready? Sell what you got. Come down here. You won't even have to work for a year. Yeah. Buy a house outright, and then find a job making money.
Well, I will tell you, it has been a part of the conversation in the DeLuz household. I don't know if we're going to wind up in Florida, but Florida, Texas have been two of the places that have been on the list of, hey, maybe why don't we? Because like I said, I could go to either with the equity that I have in my home right now and buy a home cash.
Yep.
Don't have to worry about what the interest rates are. None of that. Just sell my house here, or even better, I could rent out my house here and go and rent at buy some sort of a nice little place down there, if the interest rates were right. So
there you go.
I'm good either way.
That's it. Good
Anyway.
for you.
I got to figure out where the grandkids are going to be, because that's the thing, is where I wind up is direct proximity to where the grandkids wind up.
Bring the grandkids with you.
I don't want to live with the grandkids no more. I want to just be me and my wife.
You
I
could
wanna
buy
visit I want
another
to
house
visit
for
the
them.
grandkids. I don't mind
You
if they
could
live down the street.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could buy another house for them with that, you know. And listen, all you got to do is bring them kids to Disney and Universal once. They'll stay. They'll stay.
There you go. Mom and dad will make them, or they'll make
Yep.
mom and dad stay.
Yep.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, this is an interesting one. It appears that the U.S. Virgin Islands they in a little bit of trouble, right? At least the Attorney General over there is, because he keeps wanting to pass, and basically he keeps wanting to defy lawsuits, because the Department of Justice keeps suing the Virgin Islands over their gun laws, and he seems to keep ignoring or trying to skirt the law. This being reported by Cam Edwards over at Bearing Arms. It says Virgin Islands AG threatened with sanctions over failure to respond in DOJ lawsuit. It says here the Virgin Islands government is trying to moot the Justice Department's lawsuit over some of its draconian gun laws by adopting new legislation that supposedly addresses the DOJ's concerns over lengthy wait times for licenses and intrusive storage mandates that allow for warrantless inspections of gun owners' homes. It remains to be seen whether these changes will have any kind of impact on the litigation, but the new law does create a number of new conflicts with the right to keep and bear arms, and those may also be subject to amended complaint by the DOJ going forward. In the meantime, the DOJ's Civil Rights Division has requested a preliminary injunction against the challenge statutes, and the USVI's response was due in court on June 24. As the DOJ noted in a filing 2 days later, defendants failed to file a response of any kind or otherwise communicate with plaintiff or the court about whether they ever will. Now, Mike, this is part of a tactic that I'm seeing, and it's a kind of a new form of lawfare against the law, in that they're going to delay. Right now, the initial delays right now, they're trying to wait until after the midterms. They're like, we're going to try and not respond or do anything, or we're going to keep passing laws and keep the Trump administration in court for as long as we can. Hopefully by doing so, they're thinking they can take over the House and the Senate. Well, then then the Trump administration will spend the rest of their time dealing with, attempts to impeach him and investigations. But ultimately, they also want to wait till Trump is out of there, so that they're hoping that Democrats will win in 2028 in the White House, and then they can just go back to their anti-gun, anti-American, anti-people policies.
Yeah, and we've talked about similar to this before, if not the Virgin Islands. I think we talked about it with Puerto Rico as well. If you remember, they are U.S. territories, U.S. properties. They are citizens of the United States, with and without. Some have, don't have the voting rights, depending on national voting rights, federal voting rights, depending on which property they are or which territory. But this was the act slips my brain. It was back in 1954, if I recall, revised act of this or that, whatever it was. Now they get to remain under our as a property. They get to remain as a territory. But when they signed on the Constitution, there was parts of the Constitution they had to obey, and the first thing was the Bill of Rights. They had to abide by the Bill of Rights. Everything after that was up to them if they were going to abide by it or not. Well, all of them wholly have said, well, we abide by 9 out of 10. None of them like the idea of the fundamental right to firearms. So that's what's going on here. They're choosing to not obey one of the things that they said. Yes, in order to be part of the U.S., we will follow this. So that's the authority that the feds have, the DOJ have, to go after them. But like you said, there's timing involved, there's elections involved, and all of that.
Right. Well, it's just funny because they're not. What's funny about this nowadays, man, is they're not even hiding the ball. I mean, they're not even. They're saying the quiet part out loud. They're like, look, we're going to tie them up in court for as long as we can. And the one benefit, good thing is that Trump during his first term filled a lot of vacant seats. He filled a lot of seats, a lot of empty seats. So if you notice, I don't know if you've noticed, but court cases are moving through the system a lot faster than they were prior to Trump in 2016.
Right. And this'll, when this does go to court, this will be solved a lot quicker than like what we saw out in Marshall Islands and everything out in the Pacific, because they have to go through the Ninth Circuit. These are East Coast. Yeah, they're not going through the Ninth Circuit. Okay. These are going through solid conservative courts. So when this does start to go through, it's going to be quicker.
Exactly. All right, folks. Well, that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholster.com. Make sure you use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there. And you're going to get your Hog Holster on discount. All right, our first one here. I don't know if you guys have seen this guy. You probably see he's all over Facebook. He's a comedian named Ryan Long, and this is on the concept of colonization, and I think I found it to be hilarious. I will just say, just to be honest, he is definitely not politically correct. So if you're offended, well, deal with it.
Funniest joke ever. Alarms going off. Really set the tone for
I said I was
this
going to teach you about colonization. Do you guys know about colonization? Do I have to teach you? Because I'm Irish, which is the original colony, and the original terrorists, which you probably know about. But for your audience who doesn't know about colonization, back in the day, England used to go to all these other countries and improve them. And because they're... Ask for a few spices, nothing crazy, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like your buddy coming to your house and clean the place, puts in a soda stream when he leaves. He's like, mind if I take some oregano? And you're like, what the fuck? You know? Yeah, they used to try to help. They'd call these other countries, be like, India, we have toilets now. They'd be like, we already told you, we're good. Click, you know? And they'd be like, Australia, you guys need criminals. They'd be like, we don't need any. Like, they're on their way, you know? And then England went to the Middle East and gave them the best present you could ever ask for, which is 85,000 Jews. And without so much as a thank you, by the way, I wish I had 85,000 Jews. Jamaica was jealous. They're like, we want Jews. They're like, you already have black people. Don't get greedy. And they said once they become reggae stars, we're still going to need a few Jews to manage them. And they said the Jews can't help because they're busy sending over the black people. Now, that is 20% historically accurate.
Hey, Craig, I know you're putting up the rest of them here. I did send you one video here a couple minutes ago, so...
Okay, let me see if I can pull up the other. I'll see if I'll pull up one. Here's another one by him. This one's a little shorter, but once again, definitely not politically correct.
It's very split. Half the country wants to get rid of guns. Half the country wants to get rid of illegal immigrants. And there's probably way too much of either to make a bit of a difference even, you know. And I'm not saying illegal immigrants and guns are the exact same thing, but they have a few similarities. They both aren't white, is one. If you see one of them in your bed, you say, oh! And... I keep 2 of each in my trunk for protection.
Yeah.
He is funny. He is
hysterically funny. And like I said, I don't think he's not a conservative, but he definitely has a lot of jokes that he literally pushes the line.
Yep.
Okay, here's another one. Let me see how long this one is, because I need a few minutes. That's only 24 seconds. It's 28 seconds. All right, well, we'll pull it over. So here's one I think you'll enjoy that is also not necessarily politically correct.
And the problem is that you can't call stupid people out now if they're part of a protected class. Like if a white woman is stupid, you call her retarded. But if a black woman is stupid, you call her Your Honor.
For those of you who are just listening to the program, that was who was that they put up a picture of, Mike?
Ketanji Brown.
Yes. I knew who it was. I just wanted to see if you knew who it was.
Yeah.
All right, I'm attempting to download this video now. Let's see.
This is a great soccer one. A FIFA World Cup one. You're going to love this one.
Okay. Come on. Let me pull up another. I have another one here.
By the way, anybody watch that U.S. soccer match with Bosnia and Herzegovina yesterday? First off, Craig, how come we have to play 2 countries at once? I think that's unfair. I think we should just have to play 1 country at once. Listen, the FIFA officials are so crooked. It's not like watching MLS soccer or even the Premier League over in England. It's they're so they used to call them FIFA instead of FIFA because they're so crooked. It's horrible.
That one was pretty bad. I was like that I mean, they literally. I'm not I don't know a whole lot about soccer, but I do know that thing that happened looked completely incidental.
Oh,
And you
that
literally
maybe should have been a free kick, and they 2 levels up and went red card immediately.
I didn't. Here's the thing: I never knew. I never knew that if you get a red card, I never knew that meant first of all, dude's out for the rest of the game, and that's it for the rest of the game. Nope.
That's completely dependent upon the league and the league rules. Each league is different by that. So that in the World Cup, they say a red card means you're down 1 player next game.
Oh, next game.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, you lose that player right away, and then you're down that player next game.
Oh, but you're not down total number of players for the whole game.
Yes, I mean, look, they'll be playing 10 next week instead of 11.
Ah, okay. It is not. We'll have to use this one tomorrow because it's just. Well, let me see what if I go to the post, see if that does it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not letting me download it.
Gotcha.
All right, folks. Well, hey, that brings us to the end of our program, and you know what we do after that. Well, before we go, we always give one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep, Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Get on over there, get you some AR barrels, rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, personal, EMS, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you get everything except the gun.
Also, wanted to say, because he chimed in earlier, want to say howdy to the folks over at American Crossfire tuning in. Wanted to make sure that they said howdy. So I want to make sure I gave you a shout out back. So thank you so much. And that's going to be it for today's program. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Free for All Friday. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and we will see you mañana.